call, please.
Chair Hauser,
Present.
Vice Chair Ferguson, absent. Commissioner Berman,
Present.
Commissioner Devine,
Present.
Commissioner Godwin,
Present.
Commissioner Redfield,
Present.
Commissioner Wright.
Present.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Devine, can you lead us in the salute to the flag? Before we get into administrative business, any member of the public wishing to make public comment on any item should complete a yellow speaker card and bring it to the front and hand it to staff. On the card, please indicate the agenda item number on which you wish to comment or oral communications for items not on the agenda. Members of the public may also participate in the meeting via Zoom or the dial-in option shown on the screen. And let's show it, please. Once dialed in, enter conference number 811-5615-8241 and press the pound key. Once I announce the public comment opportunity for the item on which you wish to comment, press star 9 to raise your hand if dialing by phone or the raised hand function in Zoom. I will call each speaker, whether in person or by dial-in, for their public comment opportunity. Please be advised that public meetings are a limited public forum, meaning that there are rules for commenting at these meetings. Comments on non-agendized items must address matters within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission, and comments on agendized items must relate to that specific item. If comments do not fall into one of these categories, the city will provide you with an initial warning to stay within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city or on topic. If the warning is not followed, I will direct the city clerk to cut off the microphone, and throughout this warning system, I will seek the assistance of the city attorney in identifying comments not related to the agenda item or not within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. And that brings us to administrative business. I do not have any speaker cards, but do we have anyone on the phone with a raised hand for administrative business?
Chair, we have no raised hands at this time.
Okay. Let me just get to the right place in my agenda. Okay. Would anyone like to approve the order of agenda?
I move that we approve the order of agenda.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay. Please vote. Okay, and that motion passes unanimously. We don't have any consent items tonight. And so that will take us then to oral communications. And I do not have speaker cards for oral communications. Mr. Lim, do we have anybody on the phone for oral communications?
Chair, it looks like we don't at this time.
Okay, then I will move from oral communications to presentations, which there are none. And that takes us to our new public hearing, which is UP 142-24 and PE 197-24. 100 Eureka Square use permit and parking exemption. Recommended CEQA action is a Class 1 categorical exemption, and the recommended action is to approve with conditions. May we have a staff report, please?
Thank you, Chair, and hello, Commissioners. My name is Jacob Garcia. I'm a contract planner for the City of Pacifica. And the project before you this evening is for a use permit and a parking exception to establish an animal rehabilitation veterinarian clinic in an existing commercial space at 100 Eureka Square. Maybe I have to turn it on. Let's see. There you go. Thank you. The proposed site is located in the East Sharp Park neighborhood, which includes uses of low, medium, and high-density residential as well as commercial uses. The general plan land use designation for the project site is mixed use center. This site is also located within the Sharp Park specific plan. The Sharp Park specific plan designates the project site mixed use center as well. The site is also located within the C1 neighborhood commercial zoning district. And the proposed project will require the Planning Commission approval of 2 entitlements prior to the issuance of a building permit. This includes the first, a use permit pursuant to Pacifica Municipal Code 9-4.1001B6, which identifies a veterinary hospital or clinic as a conditional use in the C1 zoning district, and pursuant to Pacifica Municipal Code 9-42307, which requires animal hospitals and clinics to obtain a use permit and meet additional specific requirements. The second entitlement is for a request for a parking exception. The project site would not provide the required 11 parking spaces for the proposed 2,166 square foot veterinary clinic in accordance with the Pacifica Municipal Code, which requires 1 parking space per 200 square feet of gross floor area for veterinary offices and clinics. Moving on to show you the site plan. We'll start first with the use permit. The applicant proposes an animal rehabilitation veterinary clinic within an existing tenant space at Eureka Square Shopping Center. It would be located at the ground level on the end cap of the south building circled in red on your screen. The space was previously leased as Plato's Closet. No exterior renovations are being proposed with this project. However, the applicant is proposing interior tenant improvements to the space. The renovated space would contain an open reception area, an office, exam room, storage room, mechanical room, utility room, a break room, and a restroom. Since an existing floor plan is relatively open and minimal, most improvements will be associated with the addition of walls. And any new signage associated with the business would be subject to a ministerial review by staff during the building permit review process and would be consistent with the Eureka Square Shopping Center Master Sign Program. On your left is the existing floor plan, and on the right is the proposed floor plan. The proposed facility would provide physical rehabilitation treatments to dogs and cats who are recovering from injuries, surgery, or suffering from chronic orthopedic or neurological conditions affecting their mobility and comfort. The animal rehabilitation vet clinic would not accept walk-ins, and services are by appointment only. There is no animal boarding proposed for this facility, nor does the proposed business offer general anesthesia, radiology, hospitalization, or euthanasia services. The facility's proposed hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., and Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., and would be closed on Sundays. All veterinary patients and deliveries would be conducted during these operating hours. The facility would have 4 employees when fully operational and would be conducted during, and have a maximum occupancy of 10 people. That includes the 4 employees. Again, the proposed business allows services by appointment only, and there is an anticipated 10 to 15 appointments a day. Some clients may choose to wait during their appointment, while others will drop their pets off and come back at the end of the appointment. The proposed business does not have kennels and does not keep pets on site outside of their scheduled appointments. An acoustic noise modeling report was prepared by a qualified acoustic expert and concluded that there would be no significant noise generated from the proposed animal rehabilitation vet clinic uses and operations, and it would meet the city's noise ordinance. Moving on to the parking exception. The project seeks a parking exception as the Eureka Square Shopping Center has 284 off-street parking spaces. This number is below the minimum number of the off-street parking spaces required for the existing uses located within the shopping center as required by the Pacifica Municipal Code. And the proposed veterinary clinic would require additional off-street parking spaces compared to the prior retail use located in the same lease space. That would be a total of 4 additional spaces. Because of the existing built condition of the shopping center and the relatively small size of the proposed veterinary clinic compared to the overall shopping center, the applicant is unable to create additional off-street parking spaces to meet the use's minimum off-street parking requirement. The applicant has provided a parking analysis for the parking exception, which has been included as attachment F to your staff report. The analysis indicates that the peak demand of the existing parking facilities and proposed veterinary clinic would result in a surplus of 158 parking spaces. The expected increase in parking for the proposed veterinary use would not be significant and would not change the vehicular circulation pattern in the shopping center and surrounding streets. Staff recommends approval of the proposed use permit and parking exception. The low-intensity animal rehabilitation vet clinic would be a complementary use to the surrounding uses without harm or detriment to the surrounding uses and would fill a vacancy of an existing shopping center tenant space. While the existing uses of the shopping center, plus those in reserve for vacant lease spaces and the proposed use, have an off-street parking requirement that exceeds the provided spaces based on the standards in the Pacifica Municipal Code, the actual utilization of the parking facilities do provide the available spaces sufficient to accommodate the required parking for the veterinary clinic use. Therefore, the proposed project is not anticipated to have a detrimental effect on the shopping center and surrounding neighborhood. This concludes my presentation. Both city staff and the applicant team are available for any questions. And thank you very much for your time. I yield back to the chair.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the comprehensive staff report and presentation. I thought it was very thorough. I do not have questions. Does anyone have questions for staff? I do. Okay. Oh, one from Commissioner Godwin and one from Commissioner Redfield. Go ahead, Commissioner Godwin.
Yeah, my question concerns the parking exception. You indicate that there's no practical way to create these 4 parking spaces. Is that correct? And do you agree with that?
There's no more land on site to provide for additional 4 parking spaces.
Well, did you consider some alternative things? Like last week, we had a fellow who was building, or a family who was building a house, and they were putting parking stackers in their house. You certainly can create the parking spaces out of thin air with stackers. And it's much cheaper than a parking space. I mean, land in the town's about $6.25 million an acre. Parking stackers run from like $3,000 to $12,000 a piece, plus some installation costs. It seems like the parking could be created. And did you guys consider that, or was that not an option that you looked at?
This was not considered to my knowledge. I do understand that the site is currently, by definition of the Pacifica Municipal Code, overparked, and so any use going into the Eureka Shopping Center would require either a parking exception or the creation of parking to allow for it. The uses there, so the parking study provided indicates that the parking demand in the shopping center is much less than what is required by the municipal code, which is the basis for the request for the parking exception. So to answer your question, I don't think that was specifically analyzed or evaluated. However, this alternative route for entitlement was considered and pursued and supported by their parking analysis.
You do realize that our RENA study that we submitted to the state considered putting additional housing into that area that would have a dramatic effect on the use of the parking as well. And that study hasn't been approved, or that approach hasn't been approved or disapproved. So this could be quite impactful on future uses of this building that we've already committed to the state that we were willing to do.
And Commissioner Godwin, if I may, Chair Hauser, so the consideration of other alternatives for parking in that area may be, like stackers, like you suggest, may be appropriate if and when there is a development that warrants that type of improvement. But in this case, the parking study that staff has in front of it indicates that there is ample parking for the use that is being proposed. This is an existing facility, so this just would be a new type of use in the existing facility. And so requiring an applicant to pay significant amounts for alternatives like stackers would not likely be appropriate given that the parking study shows there's ample parking available for the use that's intended. But like I said, for some other type of use or other project or development, that may not be the case.
Okay. I'm going to move on to Commissioner Redfield, 'cause it sounds like we're getting into deliberation, and then just to clarify for the record, Eureka Square is not on the housing element. So just go ahead.
Just had one quick question. I read all the, I believe it was 40 public comment letters, which were outstanding, I thought. And just have to ask it anyway, has the city received any complaints from the existing business that was at 1040 Palmetto, from code enforcement, PD, fire, any that you're aware of?
Not that, no, we have not received any complaints.
All right. that
Fabulous.
was Outstanding. And that's it. I just wanted to put that in there. So I love the letters.
Thank you, everyone. So with that, unless the applicant has a presentation, I'll open public comment. Is that okay? So a reminder that each person will...
The applicant doesn't have a presentation, but I did allow them the opportunity to introduce themselves if they'd like to.
Oh, please.
And they also had prepared materials for the Planning Commission.
Absolutely. I believe you have 10 minutes, although you may not need it.
I'm sorry, I haven't prepared a formal presentation. I was just prepared to answer any questions you might have about the type of business that I operate. My name is Ilana Struble. I'm a veterinarian, and I've been practicing in Pacifica since 1998. In general practice for about 15 years, and now for the past 13 years in specialty care. Collaborate with a number of veterinarians in the community. We refer back and forth to one another and have developed quite a network of referring veterinarians in the Bay Area. My clients come to Pacifica from all over the state of California. I've had people come up from Los Angeles for specialized prosthetics and orthotics care that I provide. And there's a great need for this type of service, and so people are anxiously awaiting our expansion to allow more service provision and to allow us to continue to provide care for other veterinary practices and to our clients. So if you have any questions, we have a handout with our brochure. If you haven't looked at our website to see what it is that I do, we can provide you with a packet with the brochure. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have about our business.
Thank you very much for being here, and the commissioners will call you up if we have questions for you after we take
Perfect.
public comment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So with that, I will open the public hearing. Reminder that each person will have 3 minutes to speak if they wish. I do not have any speaker cards, but we did get 40 pages of supportive public comments.
There might be some cards out there, I saw. If you have a yellow speaker card and wanted to speak on the topic, you could go ahead and bring it up to staff here.
So seeing none, we're going to take a look and see if anyone's on Zoom or on the phone.
Chair, looks like we have no raised hands at this time.
Do you want to speak?
You can fill out the speaker card after you do your public comment.
Hi, my name is, Dr. Susan Kolowski. I'm a disabled physician, and I have known doctors. I brought my cats and dogs because they used to dump animals where I used to work. And I have known her for a long time. I have brought my 100-pound lab pit mastiff, Luke Skywalker, who is a former bait dog, and he's almost 12 years old, and she has saved his life because he can hardly walk, and he has bad arthritis, and we bring him, to her for acupuncture and for all kinds of things, and she's gone above and beyond to help him. And I have a Han Solo who has one eye, and he's a kitten, and he's 16. And then I have Maria. She was abused. She was an abused kitty, and she's a tortie. And I bring her to Dr. Alana she has the worst arthritis, and so does Han Solo. He can hardly walk. And then I have Isabella, who is in love with Han Solo. And Isabella is 16, and Maria, we don't know how old. She might be 17. And I took care of these animals. I mean, we have more, but I won't go. But we bring them to Dr. Alana, like monthly, and she saves them because they shouldn't be allowed. I mean, poor Maria has horrible hyperthyroidism, and she will go to the bathroom in her carrier. And Dr. Alana helps me. And Isabella, let's just say she has the bad heart condition, and Dr. Alana helped her so much. I'm going to just say, if it wasn't for Dr. Alana, my animals, they wouldn't be alive. And so I just want to say she has helped me so much. And my animals, I don't have any kids, so these animals are my life. But I try to help them. And I have a Zeus who I want to bring to her too, and I have several. And I also, please, I just want you to please consider, and I don't mean to go on and on. I mean, I could, but I know I have only 3 minutes, and I've probably gone over my time. So please, she rocks, and you guys all rock for being here, and thank you for everything, and thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll fill out that card.
Thank you. And thank you for rescuing animals. I don't have any other speaker cards, but I see that there is now a raised hand. Okay.
Yes,
So we'll move over to Zoom.
We do have two raised hand at this time. Caller ending in 0367, you may go ahead and speak.
And reminder to press *6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Am I allowed to speak?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm Angelique Cucaro. I'm a veterinarian, and I've been in Pacifica since 1992. I work at Lindemar Veterinary Hospital full-time, and I've had the honor of working with Dr. Struble very closely at the clinic at Lindemar for many, many, many years, and she was an amazing person, and we're very blessed to have her in our community. And the work that she does is very unique. Again, to have her caliber of work and her devotion and her dedication, she is above any reproach, and I do sincerely hope that you will allow her to have her clinic and do what she does best in helping people, helping animals. She's incredibly committed, thoughtful, loving, considerate, technically excellent, compassionate. I mean, I could go on, but sincerely hoping that the board will provide a permit for her to do what she does best in helping people and helping animals.
Thank you, Dr. Cucaro.
And Julie Burns, you may go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. I have already submitted a letter on behalf of both myself and my husband in support for this initiative. Not only will it be a boon to the Bay Area pet owners and pet lovers, but it will also be a boon to the other businesses at Eureka Square. My husband and I bring our dog, who was attacked, unfortunately, by a homeless person's pit bull when he was 18 months old. Through her care, he has had a new life, which has given us great joy and new life as well. Anywhere you go in the Bay Area, I now have a disabled dog. People say, "Oh, what's happened to your dog?" And then they will say, "My dog as well, or my cat, are also suffering from neurology issues, from arthritis, from wounds, from accidents, from congenital defects." And they say, "Where do you go?" And I'll say, I've been going to Pacifica. And they'll say, "Oh, yes, Pacifica, we know Dr. Alana." So I just want you to realize that she is a force for good for your community and for the businesses in your community, because she's on the radar throughout the Bay Area. And please, 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 I urge you to pass this exemption and the approval, because I can't wait for my dog to be able to come to new and improved care. Plus, you're hiring people. So thank you very much, and I can't say enough for Dr. Alana.
Thank you.
No other raised hand at this time, Chair.
So with that, we will close public comment and bring it back to the commissioners for deliberation. Would anyone like to start? Commissioner Wright.
Just a really quick question for the applicant, and a simple yes would be just fine. But I assume that any kind of x-rays, you have all the protective equipment you need for that, for both you and the neighbors. You have sufficient ventilation. Your garbage disposal for both smells, contaminants, and sharps will all be done in a satisfactory manner. Is that correct?
That's correct. You won't have radiographs or everything else. The waste disposal department taking care of that.
So I'm just going to reiterate for members that are watching over the phone, because I would ask you to speak at the podium, but that there was an affirmative answer that yes, the protections that Commissioner Wright requested are in place. And then, Ms. Bizzana, do I need to reopen the public hearing at all for?
Well, I think in this case it's fine, but typically we would want the chair to reopen the public hearing so that the applicant can procedurally go to the podium and respond.
Okay.
Sorry about that. And I also wanted to thank you for providing such a needed service in our community. Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner Berman.
Yeah, I just want to express my thanks for being such a loyal business owner in Pacifica. I think any unique business in Pacifica is not only beneficial for our community members, but also for our city to bring in, people from elsewhere in the Bay Area or even outside of the Bay Area. So I think this is a great proposal, and I personally don't see any issue with the parking exemption. I do think there's ample parking in that parking lot. I shop at the grocery store, and there's always parking spots. So I'm really excited to see you open up.
I'm going to echo what Commissioner Berman said. I shop there constantly, and no matter where I'm at, there's always parking right in front of the place that I'm visiting. And then I also want to echo some of the stuff that I read in the community comments that were sent to us. It's, Pacifica loves our pets. Like, we love our pets. They're our children. And I'm really grateful that you're applying for this. Dr. Cuccaro does acupuncture on my basset hound, who I just found out has an 11-year-old spine despite being almost 8. And so, this is a service that, I'm looking forward to benefiting from too. So we're so glad to have you, and I'm willing to entertain a motion because it doesn't seem like anyone else has comments.
Just one thing.
Yes, and then Commissioner Redfield.
I just want to thank you for throwing us such a softball. This is an easy one for us in our community, and just to see the amount of support that you've garnered just goes on to echo what a profound effect you've had over the course of your career. Wow. We're so excited to see you guys expand your space. Thank you.
Commissioner Redfield?
And yeah, just a quick comment. I'm happy to see that turret corner spot in Eureka being utilized. So it's a prime location. And I think you had 4 or 5 existing operators in Eureka that also commented and welcomed. Excuse me. And I'd love to see, hopefully we're going to get a sign for the business up there, and I'm loving to see Eureka Square finally getting signs up there on the facade and an updated marquee, because I think the architecture is outstanding. I think it was a huge upgrade, so we'd love to see that supportive business to another business. So thank you.
Commissioner Redfield, since you spoke last, would you like to make a motion?
I would love to make a motion. Let me pull it up here. So let me make a motion that we move the Planning Commission finds the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, approves use permit UP-142-24, and parking exception PE-197-24 by adopting the resolution, including as attachment A to the staff report, including conditions of approval in Exhibit A, to the resolution and incorporates all maps and testimony into the record by reference.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, let's please vote. And that motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, and I believe that brings us to commission communications. Does anyone have a communication? I have a communication. Please vote. It is important. You have 24 hours. No, I'm just kidding. But in reality, it's really important, and I'm super excited that tomorrow is Election Day, so let's all do our part. With that, I'll send it over to staff.
Thank you, Chair. I do have a couple of announcements. The Community Development Department is facing staffing challenges. So there's an announcement that went out today that there's been a reduction in counter hours. And the announcement is on the website and has gone out in all our social media posts as well. To maintain the service quality during the temporary staffing shortage, the department will have new walk-in hours starting today, Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., and again in the afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m. And on Fridays, it's all by appointments only. So just wanted to make that announcement. And secondly, we are trying to staff up, get some temporary augmentation as we speak, while the city goes through a more extensive recruitment for the planners series. And the one good news, you may not have missed it, but we do have an approved LCLUP, which we are working with the Coastal Commission to get to the next steps. That's all I have. Thank you so much.
It's a big announcement, so congratulations to everyone who was involved with that. That brings us to adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second. Let's vote. All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
See you over.